ever a good idea to buy luxury on credit using things like SPLITIT or KLARNA, AFTERPAY, or even your credit card? Is it ever a good idea? This was actually an idea that was given to me by one of you. This is from Alexander. Also, Nadia and Heidi, you followed up to say that you liked the idea of this topic. And what Alexander was saying is, I always wanted to know what your thoughts are on buy now, pay later, especially since all of these companies are pushing installment plans on younger customers. And you went on to say that whenever you're clicking on luxury goods videos, that you're currently being served up adverts for PayPal's installment plan, and that nowadays you think younger people are probably more susceptible to get influenced by these brands. Before we start talking, a really quick disclaimer. In this video, I'm going to try and put forward a really balanced argument for and against. Anyone watching this, it's sorry to act like your mother, I'm not your mother, but I just want to say that for anyone watching this, I'm not trying to suggest that you do or don't use these online tools, means of paying for things. Everyone has got a different reason for doing this. Everyone has a different reason why this is either a right or a wrong way for a lot of you. What I would do isn't necessarily something that you should look to do and replicate it. Debt, just to say, I've been there, I've been in so much debt. No bag, no pair of shoes, nothing is worth it. So what do I think? Sorry, really quickly, I'm looking at this blazer on there, and I quite like it. So I've actually left the tags on, because I always, whenever I purchase clothes or even bags, actually a lot of the time, I like to show them in videos, because very often when I edit them back, I'm like, yes or no. Anyway, this is it. What do I think? I think that there are both good and bad sides to what is available now. So you've got things like KLARNA, AFTERPAY, SPLITIT, PayPal credit, then you've got credit cards. Although actually credit cards feel a bit like a thing of the past, now it all seems to be these online methods of paying for things. Buy now, pay later companies like KLARNA, they just seem to be everywhere. I was on Charlotte Tilbury a couple of weeks ago, and when I got to the checkout, actually I felt like primarily it was almost trying to push KLARNA to me before it was actually pushing to me, oh, you can just pay for it with your money. Also on ASOS, I've noticed it, River Island, on Vestair Collective, they have got SPLITIT, where you can take the cost of your item and you can pay it interest-free, I think over 3 months, possibly. I personally think that buying luxury items on credit when you pay the credit back is a good idea, because you get buyer protection. So for example, I personally, every month, everything I buy, I use a credit card for. Then I set on the credit card account like a standing order thing, direct debit, where I pay off the full amount on the credit card every month so that I'm not charged interest. Paying on credit card has saved me so many times where I've bought things that haven't turned up. I've bought things that have been broken and the seller's like, well, you did it. And I'm like, well, no, I didn't. It saved me so many times. Probably my most recent situation was at Christmas, where I made a purchase of some like more higher priced clothing, and it turned up and it didn't fit, and I returned it, and the company said they didn't get the return, even though thankfully I had tracking that proved that I'd returned the item, and it took them 2 months to actually give me my money back. And the only reason why they gave me my money back is I was like, well, I paid with my credit card, so if you don't give me the money back, I'll just phone them and they'll do it like today. And so many times it's really saved me. So that's personally why I do it. I think though, the problem with these online facilities is they lure you in with the 0%, but I would then think for somebody who is younger, you could end up in a pickle really quite quickly. I know that I would. So I think the problem is with this is it plays into this whole new culture of I want it and I want it now, and I saw it on Instagram and that's it, I want it now. And these tools, because you're not waiting for payday to pay for things, I would imagine this is what would happen to me anyway. I think that I would end up buying things without really thinking it through about whether I really wanted that item.
Had a few of you asking me to explain exactly how these buy now, pay later companies work. There are many of them, I should say, and I'm going to focus on KLARNA because that's the one that I looked at. The way they work is you get to the checkout of any supported retailer and you have that option along with paying via Visa, MasterCard and PayPal. When you've created an account, which I haven't done, so I can't give you full info on that, but you can take a balance, divide it by 3 and then pay it off over 3 months, interest free. One thing that was quite surprising to me is that if you have a look at the website, I found that the colours and the language used and the imagery feels like it's very much aimed at a very young audience with little direction on there that really says to you, you're getting involved in what is essentially a payday loan, is kind of what it is. There is a section on there, they really promote their app. Now, if you have a look here, they've got a financial wellness section on the website, and they show that within the app, there is a section where you can keep in touch with your balance and how much you're spending. However, the financial section on this site, I feel, is kind of there for more ethical reasons. I can't imagine why the average person would read it, to be honest, because I do feel on this site as though they sell it in, and the app is very much about shopping, building up a wish list on the app. The other thing I just wanted to mention is when I was on this site, one thing that concerned me as a grown adult is I couldn't find much information on how KLARNA make their money, what the interest rates are, and yeah, just that kind of thing really. I did find out that they have a loan that you can take out that has got an interest rate of about 18%, which is really, really high. I also found out that if you default, it goes to a debt collection agency. I think first and foremost, they don't kind of muck around with that. And I also found out via an online search, they make their money actually through a kickback that they get with the merchant.
The other thing that I was wondering, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, is it really got me thinking about, and Alexander, you actually said it, to that younger audience who are on maybe like a lower paid income and they're still working their way up. Does it encourage a culture of easy debt? So with KLARNA, when you first sign up, on their website, it said that they do a soft credit check. So they go and have a look at your credit file, but it doesn't appear, you don't get an alert to say that KLARNA have actually looked you up. And they will actually give you a certain amount of credit based on that soft credit check. It's only then if you take out a loan or something like that with them that they will actually do a hard credit check where it will appear on your credit file. I feel like this as well is another means of making it feel really easy to get into debt. If I may explain, back again when I was early 20s, if I wanted to apply for a credit card, if I applied for one credit card, I knew that it wasn't going to be a soft check, it was going to appear on my credit file. What that then did is it meant that if I needed to take out credit or even buy a mobile phone, that credit check was going to be on my credit file. If I'd been declined for that credit, that would also be on my credit file. So then when I go to buy a mobile phone, it's not looking good at all. Whereas with KLARNA, because it's not doing that, it's kind of a bit like, am I eligible to get approved for finance? Knowing that you can go and test the water with that and it's not going to go on your credit file. I feel like there are two ways of looking at this. For those who are in a position to pay off balances at a time that they need to be paid off in order to not get any issues with penalties or any issues with, your credit file, or actually just having a balance that rolls on years and years, I think that it's a good idea. If you're buying a big ticket item, or another great thing that a lot of you brought to my attention is that if you're going to go and spend, let's say, a couple of £100 in ASOS, Normally what tends to happen is that there is a period of time where if anything that you return, you're waiting, there's a window between your return and waiting to get your refund. And a lot of people don't want to have to wait as long as it can take sometimes. And what these financial aids help you to do is it means that you don't have that downtime. You can return it. I do understand that you have to contact these companies to actually let them know that you've returned things. I don't think that that's automated from what I can see. On the negative side, particularly with social media, which, you know, it does encourage a lot of new stuff and things like that. I think it could actually be a bad thing because I think it could encourage impulse purchases. And I think for big things it's a good idea, but when you're buying multiple small things, like, you know, ASOS clothing, Topshop clothing, makeup, and you end up accumulating debt for lots of small things that actually don't have a value in themselves, that's when I think it's not personally worth it if you're not clearing the balance frequently. I'm going to read out some of your feedback and comments on this because actually I thought your comments were really interesting. So the first one is from VJ, and you've said, absolutely not. As someone who is in debt up to my eyeballs, this triggers me. I just couldn't do it. I totally agree. As I mentioned earlier, I think if this was something that I had access to when I was a lot younger, I would have mucked myself up royally with this, definitely. Carrie has also written, you've used them twice, only about a year ago at the beginning of lockdown, and then again a couple of weeks ago, both for clothes and shoes that are daily necessities but cost a bit more than I could afford to pay in full at the time. Otherwise, I don't like putting anything on any sort of payment plan if I can help it. I got caught in credit card debt several years ago and I have no interest in going back to that. NA has said, I like the options to do bi-weekly payments on pricey clothing items because there might be something that you really want, but you may not have all the money to get it. It also comes in handy if you're buying from sites and the quality is a bit 50-50 or the shipping is faulty. Anna has also said, I could do it if it's interest free, but I think for a lot of people out there, it's like credit cards and it can actually lead to trouble and buying more than you can actually afford. Nicole has said, I think it's a slippery slope. It might work for some under a certain situation, but personally, I will never buy something without saving enough money for it. And I completely agree with all of you. All of the points you've raised, I think there are multiple different sides to this. I think that if you are buying something that has got a big ticket price and within X number of months, interest free, you know you can pay it off and it's going to be more achievable than having to stump up the money immediately. If that works for you, I think that's good.
Now looking at this from the other side of the fence, and I'm going to share with you here some of the feedback that you guys gave me where you do use these services and why you use them, how often, and what you've used them for. A lot of you actually are saying that you use them in a really smart way. You use them maybe once a year or a bit more than that, and you use them to buy larger ticket price items. You've got the money to buy that item, but buying now, paying later, keeps that capital in your bank account for the longest amount of time. And that actually, I think, is a really smart idea, particularly when you're getting interest free. A lot of you are also saying that you use it because of the way you shop. So you might be someone who buys a lot of stuff from a lot of different websites, and you like to buy the same outfit in a million different sizes, and your returns tend to be quite high. And a lot of the time you might be waiting because your money's tied up with other companies and you're waiting to get your money back. So places like these buy now, pay later services let you actually be a lot more agile and flexible with the money that you've got. I personally quite like them. Having researched them, I think it's a nice option as a responsible adult who is going to pay, you know, if you're going to pay off the payments, get it done, not live beyond your means. I think it's actually a really smart, great additional option to have. I also like it because, let's imagine the dishwasher breaks. You've got some savings, but you don't quite have enough to pay for the dishwasher this month. What these places let you do is you can go on there and you can buy the dishwasher, get it replaced today, And it's not going to put you at any financial risk month on month, because the amount you're paying towards it is palatable and achievable within your budget. The one thing that I don't like about them though is I do really worry about people getting into debt. And also I thought to myself, what's stopping you from signing up to all of these companies? AFTERPAY, KLARNA, SPLITIT. You could end up in a real mess. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please write your comments in the feedback below, and I will chat to you in one moment.